Welcome back, everybody, and we might be able to finish this. I don't know. Let's see.
He rumbled gently. It's Apple Snack. I've returned with as many of the things you asked for as I could find, and I brought my friends. Although I had counted Steelhooves amongst my friends for weeks, to hear him refer to us this way was surprising, strange, and poignant. Oh, bless you, dearie. An elderly mare's voice rasped from inside, followed by an odd squeaking. Please, come on inside. Steelhooves pushed past the curtain without hesitation. With a mixture of caution and wonder, I stepped in behind him. The room under the stairs was small, lit by a couple old sparkle cola lamps sitting on old metal boxes. There was a clean-looking toilet in the near corner with several pristine coffee mugs sitting on a few shelves. The back half of the room was sectioned off by a once beautiful hanging curtain, originally rich hues of scarlets and purples, but now faded and fraying.
You know, I've been wondering what's Velvet Remedy been up to right now. They just leave her?
Much of the wall directly opposite the door was taken up by a rusty ventilation grate, the fan behind it slowly turning. The only other notable furniture amongst the clutter was an ancient phonograph sitting beside a player for more modern audio recordings. I immediately pictured this room as having originally been a little getaway from some janitor or maintenance pony, a place she could sneak off to during her shift to smoke, relieve herself, or do other things. Living in this secluded and somewhat sad place, outside of Stable City, yet still within the ministry building itself, was a mare who had been elderly, even before the pink cloud made her undying.
Granite Smith.
She was a unicorn.
Oh.
Her body fused into a wheelchair to which she had largely been confined, even before. My first assumption upon seeing the curtain was that the next room held a mattress, but I realized now that not only did Tantralite ghouls not sleep, but this mare was not even able to lay down and rest. Still,
that's okay.
She greeted us with a smile,
yeah,
her eyes wide and glowing. Thank you, Apple Snack, she beamed at us. It's been a long time since I've had some visitors. Steelhooves set the saddle satchel on the floor. I'm sorry I could not find everything, Star. A violet light manifested around the unicorn ghoul's horn and enveloped the satchel. Oh, this is lovely, Star said, floating out several records and a few audio recordings. You've saved this old mare, Apple Snack. Truly you have. Books levitated out next. I was going to go insane if I had to read the same dusty old books one more time. She gasped as she pulled out a few boxes of old snack cakes. Oh, how thoughtful of you. The elderly ghoul's smile was somehow beautiful, despite the condition of her decayed and warped body. I may not need to eat, but it is so wonderful to occasionally taste sweetness. I looked at Steelhooves. His stance was almost bashful.
No.
I could almost feel a warmth radiating off the normally dour and stoic ghoul. The elder mare paused, a ghost of a tremble passing through her lower lip. She swiveled away, turning the wheels of her chair with her magic, likewise magically tugging at the curtain to dab her left eye. The chair squeaked as she rotated. I noticed the larger wheels were still functional, but the smaller ones had fused rigid. The movement of the curtain revealed the wall behind was plastered with posters and images. I couldn't make any of them out, save that lavender seemed to be the dominating color, and that one of the posters boasted the word, Read. As the curtain fell back into place, I realized two things. First, I had no idea why the old ghoul had emotionally reacted to what my mind had labeled as a shopping run. And second, she had been unable to wipe the tear away with a hoof because her forelegs were melted into the leg rest of the chair. I felt an involuntary shudder, trying to imagine living forever, but being unable to move. I immediately wanted to help this poor mare, and I felt very proud of Steelhooves for doing what he did.
Oh.
But where are my manners? Star asked abruptly, turning back with a big smile on her face as she floated the contents of the satchel away. And where are yours? She said without a hint of malice. You haven't introduced your friends. Steelhooves whinnied, then turned to look at us. Calamity had been staring at him with eyebrows raised so high they nearly pushed off his hat. But now he broke into an almost smug grin. Yeah, Apple Snack. What say you introduce us and quit hogging this pretty young gal all for yourself? Calamity shot Star a warm smile and a mirthful wink. She rolled her eyes, smiling.
Yeah.
Star, this is Little Pip, he said, nodding to me. And the Pegasus is Calamity. Little Pip, Calamity. This is Star Sparkle. Howdy, Miss Sparkle, Calamity said. My smile of greeting faltered a moment. Wait. Who? She's living here, outside Sable City, because she's being shunned, Steele said, his voice carrying an edge. I blinked. Canterlot ghouls needed neither food nor clothing, and the Ministry Hub provided shelter, whether in Stable City or not. But I had learned that ponies need more than these things.
Yep.
Ponies needed companionship, and some sort of social framework, and that's what Stable City provided them. As much as water, ponies had a thirst for friendship. In shunning Star, the ghouls of Stable City had taken from her the one thing they could, the one thing she probably needed most. Because the ghouls of Stable City believe her daughter created the alicorns. Was always proud of my daughter, Star Sparkle told us firmly as she magically drew back the curtain.
See, it's always going to be Velvet, or Twilight Velvet. So, damn. That's just I'll work past it. I can work past it.
Which bisected her humble living space. And nothing that those monsters outside have done will ever change that. Twilight Sparkle was behind the curtain. Every inch of wall space was covered in images of her. Everything from ministry posters to ancient and yellowed home photographs, all of which seemed to be of Twilight as a young filly. There were open scrapbooks of newspaper articles featuring Star Sparkle's daughter. A large oil painting of a smiling Twilight Sparkle hung in a decorative oval frame at the back of the wall. Ministry Mare Twilight Sparkle tchotchkes filled small shelves and crates. And in the center was a precious Twilight Sparkle statuette, her base reading a familiar, "Be smart." Golly, Calamity breathed. But when the alicorns started appearing in Canterlot and they began killing us, the other ponies of Stable City decided I was no longer welcome among them, Star Sparkle explained sorrowfully. They said I posed a danger to the city. Alicorns have never paid me unusual attention, but... She looked away. Well, maybe they're right. Sounds to me more like they were all looking for some pony to take it out on, Calamity grumbled. Star gave Calamity an aching smile. Please don't judge them all too harshly. After all, they've allowed me to still live in this building. I've never been harassed. Maybe once a year some pony will even bring me things. She smiled warmly at Steelhose. Like Apple Snack here. Such a sweet young buck he is. You deserve better, Steelhose asserted. My heart echoed the sentiment, filling with an aching sadness. But the little pony in my head found the scene in front of me more than a little creepy. Standing beside her daughter in the face of public persecution was admirable, but what I saw before me was more like a shrine. I felt like I was looking into the face of obsession. Star Sparkle seemed to read something in my expression or body language.
Well, Little Pip, can you really blame it? Like, this is a very unique situation that won't be available to you as a normal living pony that will die. I mean, when you can live theoretically forever, certain things that are normally seen as creepy might just become normal. Like, if I could live forever, you bet I would build what might look like shrines to my friends and family, just so I could remember them. Because as those years go by, I may start losing my ancient memories in place of new ones. You know, the brain clearing out the unneeded... soda. Clearing out the unneeded memories for the new ones. So, yeah, I mean, if I live for 200 years, I might actually have a shrine to, like, my mom and my grandpa and my dad. You know? So that's not actually that creepy. Because you're looking at a longer lifespan, but the similar mentality. Furthermore, I kind of feel like this happened after she was kicked out, so you know the loss of contact and stuff probably didn't help things. Ugh.
Language. Your friend here thinks I'm a little crazy, she told Steelhooves. I opened my muzzle to protest. Don't fret, dearie, she said to me kindly. I understand. It looks like a lot when all of it is in such a small place.
That
I
too.
shut my muzzle, sharing a glance with Calamity before lowering my head with an apologetic expression that wasn't quite sincere. This would seem excessive, even if spread over multiple rooms twice this size. Star Sparkle let out a sigh, looking over the Twilight Sparkle shrine. No, you're right, but it's not what you think. She bit her lower lip, closed her eyes. I love my daughter, more than life itself, as did my husband. She opened her eyes, looking at the oval oil painting. And I admired her, the princess's favorite pupil, the bearer of one of the elements of harmony, the mayor of the Ministry of Arcane Sciences. I was so proud. I heard a tremble in her voice, her gaze lowered to the floor. But I was afraid of her too, Star Sparkle admitted slowly. We both were, although my husband was less scared than I was. Just once when she was young, she lost control. She changed me into a potted plant, entirely by accident, but if it hadn't been for the princess... The mare who had given birth to Twilight Sparkle looked up at me, her eyes again damp with tears. I know I shouldn't have been, but I was frightened, and even though I never stopped loving her, I let myself grow distant. She frowned. Some mother I was. My daughter received more correspondence from the princess herself than she did from me.
That's true.
I never visited her.
That's
all
true.
the time she was in Ponyville. I never met her friends.
That's true.
She shook her head. She never forgot us, though. When they built Stable 1, my Twilight made sure my husband and I were amongst the first to be guaranteed a place inside. We were on the way here when the cloud overtook us. My husband died on the steps just outside the ministry, making sure I was through the door. She looked away, softly muttering. Of course, they steal the stable early. I found myself looking at her wheelchair, and thinking of the stallion's skeleton outside with his hooves sunk into the concrete. I was suddenly very, very angry with the ponies of the Ministry of Wartime Technology. How dare they seal up the stable, trapping such good ponies outside, family and loved ones who the stable was supposed to save. They deserved... well, they deserved what they got. I suppose I've been trying to make up for all the distance I let fall between us when my daughter was still alive. I looked at the shrine with fresh eyes.
You know, even when we learned Twilight Velvet's true personality and her name, this is still accurate on the fact that, no, she doesn't fucking visit. Not once has Twilight's parents come to Ponyville. Like, damn. Damn, 8 seasons in and it's still canon. Oh, damn. Well, canon-ish.
Eyes. This wasn't obsession. It was overcompensation. I came in here, and I talked to her. Star Sparkle told us. Sometimes I tell her how my day was.
Oh.
Although not so much anymore since all my days are pretty much the same. Sometimes I read to her. She did so love books. Star smiled sadly. Sometimes I just tell her I'm sorry, and that I love her. She looked away, a few tears escaping to drip from her cheeks. Sometimes, she admitted softly, I even think I hear her say something back. We're taking her with us. Steelhooves stomped.
Yeah! Wait.
We were standing on the mezzanine as we waited for Velvet Remedy and Pirelite to join us. We are not taking her with us. I stomped back. She deserves better than that, Steelhooves insisted, pointing us up
he
in the
probably
direction of
knew
Star
her.
Sparkle's hovel. She doesn't deserve to face what we have to, I argued, shaking my head. Where we're going next is... It's too dangerous. I was cut off by a majestic hoot as Firelight landed on my head, her talons pricking at my scalp through my mane. I turned to see Velvet Remedy trotting up, a rather large package hovering behind her. Steelos nickered angrily. Well, of course we're not taking her with us now. The alicorns will be waiting for us right outside. I'm not trying to get her killed.
Yeah. See...
The top
no! No! Oh!
It's been a long time since Thunder seemed to be the dominating... She's living here, outside the Ministry of Arcane Science. My daughter received more powers through the... Star smiled sadly. I blinked. A present, a rather large package hovering behind her.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. That was terrible. At least you're going to get a laugh out of that, you assholes. I was about to say that. Like, you don't have to take her with you right now. Just deal with the you could come back for her. You know, assuming you survive and you deal with the alicorns and all that shit, you could just come back. You know?
Steelos nickered angrily. Well, of course we're not taking her with us now.
Yeah.
The alicorns will be waiting for us right outside. I'm not trying to get her killed. Well, I might have something to help with that. Calamity interrupted, pulling the case of new missiles out of his pack and setting it before Steelhooves.
Ooh,
Velvet Remedy sang.
we're giving presents. Perfect, because I have one for little Pip.
I blinked. A present? For me? She floated the package over to me as she joined us.
I just had to get you something new to wear, she chimed.
Yes! Armor!
Especially after throwing your dress to the dragons.
I tried not to grimace. Of all the things I was worried about right now, a pretty dress was really not amongst them. I had rather given up on pretty dresses at this point. The Equestrian Wasteland favored a more rugged and armored look.
Yeah.
Still, maybe it would be something to look nice in for homage. But when I opened the package, I found that Velvet Remedy had surprised me.
It's Canterlot Police Barding.
Yeah!
Velvet Remedy told me as I pulled out the old uniform. It was in amazing condition.
It's fucking
Some
cool.
of the best light barding in Equestria.
She whinnied theatrically.
You won't believe how hard it is to find anything practical in your size.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
you have to go to the baby section for her. She's so tiny. Baby SWAT armor? Oh no.
I blinked. It was a wonderful gift. Yet at the same time, I had grown rather attached to my armored stable utility
Oh,
barding.
fuck that!
Although, thankfully, not literally and permanently.
Like, the police barding probably looks so much cooler.
Ditsudu had armored it for me, after all. Velvet seemed prodded.
Go ahead. Put it on.
Almost as if she had read my mind, Velvet said,
I know your old stable suit has been a constant companion, but haven't you put it through enough? That suit's been torn up and mended as often as you have, and it deserves a rest. Wouldn't you agree?
I nodded solemnly and started to disrobe. We're still not taking her with us, I said firmly.
Taking who?
Velvet asked. Star Sparkle, Steels told her.
Who?
Take her where? We'll take her to Tempony Tower, Steelhoof said emphatically.
Yeah.
Do you really think they'll just let her in? A Canterlot ghoul, living that posh stuck-up. Yes, they will. Steelhoof slowly intoned in a low voice that told me it would be very bad for the citizens of Tempony to refuse her.
Oh, man.
She
Yeah.
is Twilight Sparkle's mother. Remember what Tempony Tower is. They will. I nodded. I agree, I stated, suspecting that the Twilight Society would go to great lengths to have a direct relative of the Ministry Mayor in their tower. I'm sure Homage would help too, and... I chuckled, shaking my head. I can set her up with a place. I own a cheese shop. Both Calamity and Velvet Remedy looked at me oddly. You got a what now?
Yeah!
As I pulled the stable utility over my head, I informed Steelhooves.
But we're not taking her with us.
I tossed my utility barding onto the floor and stared at it. It was ragged, so patched up it looked like it was sewn from rags. There were deep stains, not all of which were blood.
Yeah.
It was utterly repulsive. Not now.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
looked at
saying.
Steelhooves, who was still snorting impatiently. We'll come back for her, though. I promise. Until then, she's safe here. Why not? Steelhooves asked insistently. Because we're not going to Pony Tower. As soon as we're done in Canterlot, we're going straight to Splendid Valley. No more delays. After we pick up Zenith, Calamity reminded me.
I
Okay,
forgot about her.
One delay. After we pick up Zenith, I added. Splendid Valley. I leveled a look at Steelhooves. You know what's there. I'm not taking Twilight Sparkle's mother anywhere near that place. I'm not taking her anywhere until the goddess has been dealt with. Steelhooves seemed to accept that answer, backing down with a nod. I folded the barding up as best the armor plates would allow, and slipped into my duffel bag filled with tools for Calamity. Oh. I looked up, floating my old armor and the stealth buck 2 out of the duffel bag before passing it to Calamity. I've got a present for you, too.
Oh, it's presents. For everybody.
Calamity took one look inside, and let out a whinnying squeal of glee. I started putting on the Canterlot police barding, which really did fit quite well, and... Oh, what was that feeling? Oh yes, I remember now. It's the feeling of wearing something clean. Steelhooves walked over to the nearest stable city guard and spoke with him, getting a nod. I trotted in place, getting used to the feeling of the new armored barding. Thank you, Velvet. This is... nice. I paused, noting the color. How's it look? Does it go with my mane? Steelhooves neighed, returning as the guard trotted over the railing of the mezzanine. Honest opinion, I can't picture it on you. Not enough bloodstains.
Oh!
I gave Steelhooves a dirty look. Just give her some time. A few days and it'll look exactly like the old barding. I shifted my attention to the guard, ignoring them both. The guard's horn began to glow. Sparks of magical light floated down and spread out amongst the skeleton-covered floor below. The static from beneath it stopped. How... I shut him off, the guard said simple. I'll turn the broadcasters back on after you leave. Shut them off? My hoof slapped my face as I remembered cowering in the corner of the Ministry of Magic lab, shooting frantically at a broadcaster. Of course, you could just turn them off. I was not a clever pony.
No, not really.
I was, in fact, a very stupid pony. As we walked down the steps and made our way through the sea of bones, I stopped and pulled out one of the broadcasters from its pit buck, turning it over, familiarizing myself with its design. Well, ain't this obviously an ambush? Calamity said dryly, looking out into the pink. Where do you think they all went? There
Below.
was no sign outside
No,
of even a
above.
single alicorn.
Because there's stuff below.
Hiding up on the roof or round the side of the building, you think?
Maybe the one they call Nightseer got tired of losing alicorns to us and called them back.
Velvet Remedy suggested hopefully. Something in the tone of her voice betrayed that she didn't really think that was possible either. So, Calamity looked to me. What's the plan now?
Ain't got one.
Pinkie Pie's office. Ministry of Morale. Manhattan. Only... not. As I pushed open the door with a pink hoof, everything seemed... off. Disoriented. It was as if the normal color scheme of the world had become a twisted painting of grotesque pastels. I felt awful, and yet I felt horribly alive. A buzz ran through my nerves and up my spine. My ears itched. There was a tremor in the back of my right hind leg, and an odd burning sensation growing in my left hoof. I knew this feeling. My host was riding the razor cliff of a party time Mintow's high, the edge before the awful crash.
Oh boy.
But it was more than that. This was wrong. The world tasted funny, smelled funny, like peppermint and rotted cabbage.
Ah.
Stupid bitchy Twilight. I'm fine. I'll show her.
My host looked around, scowling. It was as if she even realized something was terribly out of place, but couldn't quite put her hoof to what.
Oh, I know. I'll record my memory and send it to her. A nice long one. She'll see there's nothing wrong with me, and she won't be able to leave until she's done seeing.
No. No, Pinky. You are not fine. Nothing about this is fine.
Leave her be.
A voice whispered from beside me.
If she wants to throw you away because she does not like your parties anymore, then good riddance.
The voice was female, and it was coming from... the plant? Yes. One of the potted plants in Pinkie Pie's room was actually talking to her. I saw the plant move. The leaves rustle as the voice drifted up from it.
You don't need her. You don't need any of them.
My host barely gave her... it... a glance.
But I thought she was my friend.
Indeed, came another voice from a marbled paperweight on Pinkie Pie's desk. None of them see what you can see. They don't understand the pressure you're under.
No.
Pinkie Pie agreed.
No, they don't.
Oh, goddesses. Pinkie Pie was having a mental break.
Yep.
I was seeing what she was seeing in her head.
Yep.
Pinkie Pie continued to look around, then stopped, staring at a tall, thin object concealed by a sheet.
Where did you come from?
She plodded over and grasped the sheet in her teeth, pulling it free. Before her stood a mirror. I saw my host staring back at me. Pinkie Pie, but not as I was used to seeing her. Her coat's coloration was off. Her mane hung straight and limp. Her expression was a cross and dour one. This was Pinkie Pie, right after her last party. There was a ribbon wrapped around the mirror, with a note on it. Dearest Pinkie, thought this might help you find your way. Rarity. Pinkie Pie scowled as she read the note.
I'm not lost.
She grasped the ribbon in her teeth and tore it away, then stared at herself in the mirror.
You too, Rarity? She mumbled. Are all of my friends going to abandon me?
Can't trust any pony anymore, the paperweight grumbled. Pinkie Pie trotted to a nearby intercom, pressing her hoof against the button.
Hey, there's a mirror in my office that isn't supposed to be here. Call some pony to pick it up.
Yes, ma'am. A mare's voice crackled over the intercom, sounding oddly distant.
Where's it supposed to be? Oh, I don't care. Take it to one of the fun farms or something,
Pinkie grumbled.
Oh!
Just get rid of it.
Oh!
My host trotted back up to the mirror, staring. She reached out a hoof, touching the surface, and jumped back at the shock of cold. The image in the mirror changed abruptly. Now, looking back at us, was Pinkie Pie. Smiling, cheery, objectionably pink, poofy-haired Pinkie Pie.
Oh, hey!
The Pinkie Pie in the mirror called out happily.
Hey, Pinkamena. Oh, you don't look so good. Which is bad, 'cause you're me, and that means I don't look so good.
She had enchanted the small mirror. To look in it, you would see your reflection, just as with any mirror. But if you touched it, or focused your magic on it, then a spell within the mirror took a picture of your soul. Then a second enchantment allowed the mirror to show that image. The mirror Pinkie Pie looked at my host with concern.
What's wrong with us?
So does that mean Little Pip's soul is that of a raider? I kind of like that. It's dark and weird.
Ooh, who the hell are you?
Pinkie Pie, my host, grumbled. Goddesses, this was bizarre, if not downright creepy. I decided to think of them in different names, just to keep my thoughts straight. Although part of me worried that was buying into this insanity.
Why, I'm you, of course.
Pinkie Pie giggled.
I'm the real you. Which is weird since I'm totally high, too.
The reflection was high on PTMs?
What?
Or was that Pinkamena's high warping the reflection that can't really be having a conversation in the first place since reflections can't talk? just like paperweights and potted plants.
This is a trick.
Pinkamena hissed.
Ooh, you mean like a practical joke? See, they really do...
Well, it's 30-minute mark, so I have to end this. Though I have to say one thing. I really want, like, an interlude just from Luna's mind. Like, actually, I'll make an addendum video and talk. So, like I said, I make a quick addendum video. But, like, I just want one of these from Princess Luna's frame of mind. Like, I want to know what Luna was thinking as she watched the main six. Her heroes, her saviors, and, you know, heroes of Equestria completely implode because of her decision to put them all in different ministries. I just want to know. Like, I want to see the thought process that went into it. I want to see her thought process as it went on. And I want to see her thought process as it ends. Because I want to see all three. Because I like understanding character mentalities. I like it. I like getting in their heads. So, like, I want to see what Princess Luna's thoughts were on the beginning, when it seemed alright, and the middle, when it started to fall apart, and the end, right before it all went to shit, and just how it all ended. Because, in reality, a good chunk of all the problems in the Wasteland are directly her fault, or indirectly her fault because of the ministries. Like, I mean, think about how much of this shit is the ministry's fault, and the only reason the ministries exist is because the Princess Luna made them exist. So I just want to know. I just want to know the thought process. And I honestly thought I would go on long about this, but it's only a minute and 30, so I guess I'll just add it on to the last video. Alright, bye.